Good morning, happy Monday. This is Cody from Secure Agent Mentor, and this is another episode of the Six Figure Podcast, and how we are talking about making you six figures and getting you to that mark. Whatever your goal is, a lot of agents say, they come to me, hey, I want to make six figures. This is what you need to do to make six figures. If you listen to these, if you implement these into your practice, you can and will make six figures in the insurance business. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so thank you very much for clicking on this and for listening to this. Once again, please subscribe to these so that you can continue to get notified. Every one of these is dropped every morning. So again, thanks for listening. Hope you had an awesome weekend. How about I had an incredible, relaxing, I focused on a lot of work, got a lot of work done, but also enjoyed NFL being back and watched a lot of NFL games, as I'm sure most of you did as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. Today is going to be about overcoming objections, or what I call the 3 A's for overcoming objections. I've actually, I started using these, about probably 4 to 5 years ago is when I initially thought, okay, I've kind of thought through what I was doing. I used to listen to The Art of Closing the Sale by Brian Tracy. I still follow Grant Cardone, used to listen to a lot of Zig Ziglar. And so I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of audio books on sales. But I've never heard anyone put it this way. And I'm kind of a simple individual. If I can break it up into steps, then I have a better chance of definitely doing it and using it. Even when I set goals, I've got to set some steps. I'm not... I know myself well enough that, you know what, if I wake up and maybe my goal is to work out every morning, I know that if I plan out this 3-hour daily workout, it's not going to get done. And so some simple steps are better than too many that we're not going to continue to do. Consistency is better than anything. And I've learned that even with my own YouTube channel. So the 3 A's to overcoming objections, which again will bring you six figures, or will at least improve your skill in this business and will help you overcome the objections. We get a lot of challenges. We get a lot of objections. We get a lot of people that want to think about it. People that want to, that want to talk to their spouse, that need some time, that don't want to make an impulse decision, that aren't sure they want us to come to their house, aren't sure they want to buy. Whatever the case is, if you can use these 3 A's, you can overcome any objection that you will ever receive. So the first A is agree. Agree, agree, agree. Always, always, always agree. This is what I feel like is step one, rule number one of sales, period, is agreeing, agreement. I've done some podcasts on this before. I've talked about this quite a bit. Most individuals, they don't think about how important it is to actually agree. If you ask most sales individuals, most of the individuals that put out sales books, sales audiobooks, whatever the case is, their first rule for sales and what they will agree is agree. It's the number one rule of sales. Always, always, always agree. And so if you can agree, you can start to master these different ways of overcoming objections, because it is, number one, it's possible for us to agree, but it's not human nature. It's not human nature to think about agreeing, to constantly agree. It's not human nature to agree with everything that everyone says. But in sales, to get what you want and to get where you want to go, you may not 100% understand what they're saying, but you need to agree. You need to agree so that you can get where you want to go. So number one is to agree. They could say, Cody, this cost way too much. You know what? You're right. You're right. I agree. You're right. I'm with you. I understand exactly what you're saying. Then you're going to move into the second A, which is answer. And I think we can all agree, you see what I'm doing here? I think we can all agree that the first A is extremely important, but it's something you can do. It's something that you can work on adding to your practice. And I'm going to give you, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a 24-hour challenge, which is to see if you can agree with everything everyone says for 24 hours. Because it's something you got to practice, something you got to implement, something you got to kind of tweak yourself. You got to learn to implement things into your life that you're not used to doing. And agreeing with people isn't normal, isn't natural, isn't something we normally do, but something you need to be doing. Okay, so the first one was agree. First A was agree. The second A is to answer. You have to answer their objection. And so they could say, like we just said, Cody, the price is way too high. You know what? You're right. I agree. You're right. I'm with you. A lot of my clients felt the exact same way until they realized the value that actually came with this. Now, would you like for me to show you the value, or would you like to purchase at a lower price? You see what I'm doing there? Which I gave away the third A by doing that, is ask, agree, answer, and ask. You agree with what the person is saying, you answer their objection, and then you ask again, or you ask them a question, or you ask the same question that you'd already asked, but you ask it in a different way. I learned this a long time ago, about probably 6 years ago. I learned that you can ask someone the exact same question over and over again, as long as you're asking it in a slightly different way, then you will always get a different answer. And so I can ask someone what their budget is, and I can do it in multiple different ways. How much can you comfortably afford to spend on a monthly basis? What do you think you can budget for this? What are you used to spending on something like this? All these are different ways of asking someone the exact same question, and you will either get an answer with one of those questions, or you'll get the same answer. But at least you're asking in different ways. Because a lot of times we'll ask someone, we'll ask them a direct question. They may not answer our question, but in sales, we want to get answers to our questions. We want to come back to them and slightly tweak up the question or ask them a different question, because if we're not getting answers to our questions, we are not in control. And so the 3 A's, again, agree, answer, and ask. I'll just give you a couple more examples. If the prospect says, Cody, I need to think about this. I'm just unsure. Absolutely. I think that's a very wise decision. That's the agreement. Answer, a lot of my clients felt the exact same way. They ended up taking purchase on the very first appointment, and they were happy that they did so. So would you prefer this in blue or red? Or would you rather, are you planning to pay for this today by MasterCard or Visa? Agree, answer, and ask. I'll give you another example of a way I would overcome an objection. And I do this a lot out in the field, whether I'm running appointments with agents in the field, whether I'm, and all these things that I'm talking about will be on the brand new secureagentmentor.com training website. I want you to know that up front. That will be out this month, and these things will be on there. These are things that are, and it's going to be extremely inexpensive to join this website. It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be way too cheap. I will say that up front. The value will be, there'll be $1 million worth of value on that site. Something that's made me $100,000 while I was in college at 19. And you will not have to pay anywhere close to $1 million. You won't even have to pay $100. You won't even have to pay anywhere close to $100, which is sick, which is crazy. Okay, so I'll give you another example. Another example would be if a client said, say we were trying to set an appointment over the phone, and they said, you know what, I can't meet, and we said, I'll be out in your area tomorrow at 2:00. Will you be home? No, I will not be home tomorrow at 2:00. Okay, very good. I'm sure you're a busy individual. What time would work best for you? Or I'll be back out in your area on Wednesday and Friday. Which one of those days would work better for you? And so you can use this in any capacity of your insurance career. It comes down to the psychology of selling, and you've got to understand the psychology of what's going on before you can get where you want to go, or to get the answers that you want, or to get clients to do what you want them to do. So the first A is agree. The number one rule of sales is always, always, always agree. So the first A is agree. The second A is answer. You want to answer their objection by, a lot of times I'll use the whole Brian Tracy type of answering the objections, where that A, answer, I'll kind of sympathize with them. A lot of my clients felt the exact same way until they realized this, until they learned this. A lot of my clients felt the exact same way until they took purchase. Then they were happy that they did. That fear or that skepticism or that nervousness to take action actually ended up dropping. They were happy with their decision, and they've been happy with their decision for years. I've got a lot of happy customers. You want to be one of those, don't you? I mean, you're answering what they are saying. You can't totally dismiss and ignore what they're saying, because by agreeing, you're at least acknowledging. But then answering, you have to answer their objection. You couldn't just agree. I mean, you could agree and ask, yes. But the answer stage is so important to let them know that you are listening and that you heard them. If you just agree and then jump into ask, it will almost come across like you are in a hurry, or that you did not hear what they said, or what they said was not as important as what it should have been, or as wasn't as important to you as it was to them. Okay, the third A, ask. Ask is important. You can ask in multiple different ways. It doesn't matter how you ask. The purpose is that you're asking. The purpose is that you're finishing with a question and that you're redirecting it back to them for them to make a decision. You will never make a sale if you don't ask. You will never get a yes for anything if you don't ask. You will, what's funny is most insurance agents fail, or most salespeople fail. Two reasons why salespeople or insurance agents specifically, why they fail. Number one, they fail because they don't see enough people. And I think that's kind of a given. You've got to run enough appointments to succeed in this business. If you're not seeing 6, 8, 10, 12 people a week, I don't care how good you are, you will fail. I don't care if it's today, tomorrow, a year from now, or 6 years from now. If you're not seeing enough people, if the numbers are not there to support your ability, you will fail. So then number two, the other reason that insurance agents don't succeed, or they don't do well enough to make it, is they don't ask for the order. You got to learn to close. You got to learn to ask for everyone to do it. If someone doesn't ask me to buy, I'm not going to buy. I expect people to ask me, and I'll even tell them if I want something and they're not asking me, dude, don't you want me to take ownership of your product today? If you do, you may want to ask me to buy. You may want to assume that I'm wanting to do so. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you implement the agree, the answer, and the ask, the 3 A's of overcoming objections, you will succeed, and you have a much better chance of making 6 figures. Again, this is 6 Figure Focus. This is a podcast that we do here at Secure Agent Mentor. Again, my name is Cody Askins with Secure Agent Mentor. We've got a brand new training website coming out called secureagentmentor.com. You're going to want to check that out. It will absolutely revolutionize this insurance industry and will help you improve. Hope you have an incredible week. Go out and see enough people, ask, and then agree, answer, and ask with every objection that you receive. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.